back in about 2016, my company was taken over by another company. And as we understood where the changes were going to be happening, there was question whether roles would still exist in the new company. And so it was early that year where Pastor Bill actually preached a sermon on turning it over to God, and that anything we have here in our lives is not ours, it's God's. And so as I started to look at this perspective of potentially losing my job, not knowing where I was going to be going from there, I really came back to Bill's message and said, it's not mine. My job's not mine, my future's not mine, it's the Lord's. So it really took a lot of the angst and the concern out of my heart, and I put it on God and said, it's up to you, God, what happens. I knew that my age of 49 at that point was critical. I needed to be 50 if I were to lose my job, just for financial reasons and retirement reasons. So there was a lot of stress in the family, in my heart about it, and so I was able to just turn it over to God and say, it's not mine, it's yours. Okay, so after I turned it over to God, it made the stress in my life go down tremendously. I also had a lot of time to think that next 6 or 8 months as they were rolling out who was going to be in the new organization and, quite frankly, who wasn't. So as I continued on that, I really decided that, or continued with the thought that it is not mine, it's the Lord's. As it happened, I did lose my job, but the Lord made sure I hit my age of 50 so that my retirement benefits and whatnot all kicked in, which allowed me then some freedom of not having to jump into the first job that comes available because I've got some money coming in, but also it gave me some time to be able to do some things. So that over the last year and a half now, I've had more free time to be able to help out on different activities. Helping Pastor Matt and his family move to town was one of the key things that I was able to help on. I helped move my mother-in-law, sell her house in Howell and get her up here to Midland and find a place up here. So those are all things that I wouldn't have had time to do had I still been employed in the job. So I started figuring out where I was going. Some doors opened, other doors closed as far as job opportunities. I ended up deciding that I needed to start my own business. Since then, the Lord has just blessed us as a family. As we go through, I continue to remember none of this is mine. It's all God's, and He blesses us as He sees fit. And we've been able to continue to do things with our time and our talents and our money that we would not have typically been able to do had I stayed in the old job. So it's really been a blessing, and while I don't wish it upon anybody to have to go through the stress of it all, but turning it over to God and knowing that He's in control and just being willing to follow His lead has really turned out to be a blessing both for me, my family, and my wife Lisa.